Hello. Welcome back to Elena Helps Teach. This is going to be a very different kind of video than the ones that I have put out in the past. I am looking forward to getting back to this channel. I am so excited about the future and where this channel can go and where creating resources can go. It is so life-giving for me. I wanted to update you. I put out a few videos at the beginning of the school year and then poof, I disappeared. I was writing a ton. I was having a creative heyday, really pulling from those experiences that I had just experienced in the past school year. Really being able to verbalize some patterns of communication in my classroom that have been true really since the end of my second year of teaching. I really started playing around with these ideas. And then I got some massive help from a mentor, a really powerful mentor in my 4th or 5th year teaching. And he is a phenomenal teacher because I took what he taught me in a very short period of time and kept practicing it. And I'm certainly not perfect, but I will get you his resources. They'll be linked in the description box below. He's a great teacher. I wanted to update you on just a little snippet of what has been going on in my life since I created my last video. This channel is going to have to be raw for a while and just be real. And I love something with high production value. I learned so much by even just putting those initial videos together. I can't wait to see where some of the beauty of this channel could go as I perfect those skills. But right now is not that time. And I am really good at saying, when this is perfect, I will start doing this. I'm just going to start doing this. I have 2 big players going on. I would say 3 big players of situations going on in my life. Some of them are amazing, some of them are having breakthroughs, and some of them are just going to be the way life is. When I stepped away from the classroom this last spring, I stepped away from the classroom because my autoimmune condition was absolutely unmanageable. I did not receive my autoimmune diagnosis until I was in my 30s. And I have been dealing with symptoms of this. Really, the first time I have like a noticeable flare of autoimmune, I was about 17. So, distinguishing between what's normal pain for somebody who's 32 to be experiencing, what is not. I thought of were just like, quirky little things that I did, in seasons of my life when I was younger, became like very noticeable epilepsy that was interrupting my day. Things like that just got, and I had to take some time for myself. And I don't like to do that. I don't like to do that at all. I like to go full speed at work, full speed at life, and I just made the choice to take care of myself. And so I have been out of the classroom for almost exactly half of a school year. I am on my first ever round of immunotherapy. I am about 2 months in. I am feeling significantly better. That being said, I still am in a season of when I am not working, this life inside of this house has to be very small for me to be able to do everything that I'm doing. The second exciting thing or big thing, I don't know that my autoimmune disease is exciting, but it is there. An exciting thing is I opened a cleaning company over the summer. Well, actually it was more like fall. I started it in the fall, because I needed a way to pull income where I was not being immersed in a sensory experience every time that I was at work. Teaching is very sensory heavy, and then I was going and waitressing at night, back and forth, and I was way overextended socially. And so I was like, what could I do to make money? Well, I love to clean stuff. I have loved to clean stuff since I was a little kid. I find great satisfaction in leaving a clean and just beautiful space for somebody else to spend time in. I love it when my space is clean. So I started a cleaning company called Little Mama's Cleaning Co. And I have successfully gotten this business off the ground and am pulling in a life-giving amount of income off of that, doing something that is much more where I'm at. Even though it's labor intensive, it's keeping me moving and keeping my mobility up, but it's not mentally demanding in the way that teaching or serving would be. So that's really exciting. That has taken up some of my time, learning how to be a businesswoman and dealing with quotes and keeping track of mileage and what's a tax write-off and, oh my gosh, I should have filed this way. What an adventure. So that's going on. I'm continuing to run the cleaning business. I'm actually training my first employee tomorrow, so I'm really excited about that. And the third thing that is really at play here is it was not until much later in my experience in life that I realized that I had any neurodivergent tendencies whatsoever, which now is laughable. And I do laugh about it. Because I'm just like, oh my goodness. And I do not want to be slowed down by anything. I've never wanted that. Like I said, I like to go full out sprint in life. That is just the pace I like to keep. And so having neurodivergent tendencies, it really gives you the boost that you need to keep going. Your curiosity, your sensory experience is so heightened. And that has been, I think that I enjoy life more than some people ever get the chance to, because I sense everything at such an extreme stimulating level. But that also was contributing to a cycle of my autoimmune disease is flaring and I'm overcompensating mentally to make up for the fact that I'm really struggling in a lot of other ways. Like keep your edge became very much up here for me. And so then I would have neurodivergent burnout, and then I'd finally recover, and then I'd hit another flare. And like not understanding how those things were connected to each other. And just being like, man, you're just like crazy and then you're tired. You're like a creative just explosion and then you collapse and like what's happening. Learning about my neurodivergence has given me the capacity to create a more reliable and sustainable life for myself. So in the world where everybody is coming out as neurodivergent or being diagnosed with a neurodivergency, I would say absolutely give yourself the time to discover those things. There's a lot of talk on the internet about feeling traumatized that you were late diagnosed, and I do understand that. However, I think that a gift that we were given as late diagnosed people, if we do not hand those down to the kids that are experiencing it now, we're missing an opportunity. I have a lot of hands-on experience dealing with lack of focus, hyperactivity, being overwhelmed by how intense I could make an assignment that was given to me. I don't just want to do it. I want to do it. And like the amount of creative friction that I was experiencing with this like pop it out production system of public education, I struggled. And nobody was knowing that I was struggling because I got like straight A's. But like I was struggling with being trapped in. That's one of the things that I struggle with still in public education is feeling I think that a lot of us as professionals in the teaching world sometimes feel like we have so many curriculum suggestions and policies that it's taking that creative space out of the learning process. And for somebody who's neurodivergent, you can't do that. And so those factors have been really the product and the reality of my last few months. So I am going to start filming content again, and it's going to look a lot like this. I was joking with my sister that I'm in my Adam Sandler era. I really am. So these videos are going to be about two things primarily. One, how to connect with your students. Really quick activities that you can use to help them reflect on what you're reading, get them writing, get them talking, get them moving in a way that you have control over it. Because we all want that. And I have never had a classroom that I couldn't successfully get talking and interacting about content. I like to talk. I really like to engage. And there are ways to create safety where kids will really engage with the material. I'm not perfect. I'm still learning. I'm learning from teachers all the time. And I love it. But I also think that maybe with like the zesty noodle that I've been given, having spicy brain, there are some things that I can bring to the table that maybe other people wouldn't think to verbalize. You are probably noticing everything that I'm noticing. You're just seeing it through a different lens. And I need your lens too. But I think, why not talk about it? Get these things out here. So I am back in the classroom now. This was my first day. So a couple things that I want to talk about are how to posture yourself towards your students, how to suggest to students that there is a clean slate without saying that, giving them choice. And then a couple activities that you could do as you're coming off of snow days or Christmas break. You came back and it was weird. Bus schedules were weird. All kinds of stuff happens in the cold, especially here in the north. And it's been choppy since Christmas break here. So we're coming off of a time in Ohio where we're having some instructional instability. And so you're going to have a lot of false starts on really getting everybody into a routine. So I'm coming into this and I think I will have a routine and they will have a routine. We will be fully functioning by March 1st. March 1st. Anything in between now and March 1st is an opportunity to get me and them one step closer to being regulated. So that's kind of the approach that we're taking. So I'm just going to kind of walk through how I approach today. Because I have a very specific way that I want my students to know that I'm posturing myself towards them. And that happens a lot on the first day. I spend the first day, I kind of warned a kid harder than I would usually on a first day today in my 5th or 6th block. And it wasn't anything crazy. It was like, hey, we're going to have to clarify expectations if this behavior keeps happening. And he was like, okay. And that's the most harsh I was today with kids. Okay. So first day, I'm wanting to present myself as really confident, really open, and extremely qualified to do my job. I want them to know I am absolutely 100% here to engage with the work of learning. That is why I'm here. I am qualified to do this. This is what I am best at in all of the world. Here are my credentials, and kids speak, this means this. So I told them, for example, I specialize in late bloomer literacy interventions. I would say that is true from a professional interest standpoint. Okay. So I told them that means that if you're struggling to read by 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, that's when I do my best work, where I can step in and usually get get you reading, okay, and get you engaging with the text. So that means for you that if you're somebody who is struggling to read, or you are having a very hard time getting started on writing prompts, that's not going to shock me. Okay, I expect that. Okay, and I'm going to come right alongside you and I'm going to help you with that. Just saying, this is my expertise and I'm handing all of it over to you. This is what that could mean for you. Talking about, I graduated with my bachelor's in middle school social studies. That's actually true. I don't lie to them don't lie to them about your credentials. Think about what your credentials actually bring to the table for them. Okay, so I told them, I graduated with my bachelor's in middle school social studies. I'm really interested in social studies, and that's why I went to college for this. I really enjoy this kind of work, so I'm right where I want to be. You want them to perceive you as rock solid and very sure that you want to be there. You don't have to be I love teaching. You need them to understand that you are fully confident, aware, and embracing the fact that you are in a room with them. They are your reality. Give them intense attention. Or at least that's what I do. If that doesn't fit your personality, figure out a way to get some theatrics into your teaching. And I know that sounds like ADHD speaking. It is. I get dopamine from the theater that is teaching. So if you can start thinking about what would be life-giving to you, what kind of activities calm you, and really engage with it and make room for yourself in your classroom. Okay, lean into the fullness of your personality. They will appreciate you not holding back on them. If you're a really shy person and you need 15 minutes of your class period per time, not even shy, but you get socially drained and you need time, say, I need time where it is silent. So I have structured this class so that the first 15 minutes of it, this class is going to be completely silent. And then when we start working, we're really going to start working. You can tell them, make space for yourself in your classroom. If you don't do that and you're constantly on stage and it's all about production, which we need to be productive. There's no getting around that. But if it's about production and not about the realities of who's in the room, you're a huge reality of that room. If you need to take some space for yourself the second half of the year, even if that means giving kids a job being the person who puts papers in other people's trays or passes things out, or if you need classroom jobs, think about what really got you that first half. And then start making some accommodations for yourself, babe. You're making accommodations for them all day. There is nothing wrong with showing up as a whole person in your classroom. So do that for yourself. It is totally worth it. I tell them, I know that you're having a routine change. Okay, I know that it's been choppy since Christmas break and we're really just now getting back to a full week. And now you have a sub. And I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Okay, so this is going to feel like a false start. Letting them know that this is a whole new thing. The teacher that I am subbing for, I'm so thankful that they left me lesson plans. They're, clearly a qualified educator, and this class is not going to feel anything like that class felt like. Because I'm not that teacher. So honoring the subject, honoring your teacher, and saying she seems to have done an incredible job. Left me phenomenal sub-plans. So incredibly organized. Left the kindest note. Just, I can tell that she's a very thoughtful person. So I'm not going to dishonor her lesson plans. I want to hold her up as a colleague to my students. They need to see unity across the staff. That staff thinks that other staff is excellent at their jobs. If you think that your students don't know which teachers you like or don't like, you're probably wrong. We have to hold each other up as educators. Absolutely. And these kids are consumers now. They're consumers of social media, consumers in the marketplace. They have power in a way that we didn't when we were kids. Our parents were primarily the consumers. That's not how this is going. That's just part of the cultural climate. And so hold your colleagues up. And if you hold them in esteem, eventually the culture will start to hold us in esteem. But we got to do it for ourselves first, guys. And it's hard work, especially when tension is high and kids are wearing you down. But we're professionals. So respect the profession. I'm really passionate about that. So I am going to take a look at my notes here. One thing that I did tell my students that I have ADHD. I think that is a personal choice. Okay, and I understand that is a pretty vulnerable thing to say on your first day of teaching. I'm pretty risky when it comes to how much of my real experience in life I will share with my students. That line is different for everybody, but I'm willing to have a conversation with a parent where a parent's like, I think that it was inappropriate that you told my child that, and I am going to tell them. There are a lot of students in that room who need a role model to show them that it is possible to overcome pretty profound neurodivergence, and you have so many skills that you can learn in between now and adulthood that will make you successful. And it's not just the fact that you're medicated this morning. We have so many tools. And I need those kids to learn those tools so that they can have an adult role model that is owning ADHD and also owning how much I will refuse to not thrive. I will thrive. Okay? So instilling that kind of mentality and we can do this. There's a solution. Try this. What about that? And really be able to brainstorm in the same headspace as somebody who desperately wants to write something on that page. And the only thing that she can hear is the bobblehead in the window. I was trying to write notes in my planner today in this classroom, and I could not think straight. And I eventually had to walk around the room and figure out what is bugging me. And it was the bobbleheads. The slight off tick of bobbleheads. Okay? But I desperately was trying to be productive. When these kids are sitting down with a writing prompt, we have to teach them text structures first. We have to start with fill in the blanks. And there are a lot of people who have poured an immense amount of time into me, teaching me how to teach writing. And I really latched onto it because I'm not naturally a good writer. I've become such a better writer from learning how to teach writing. And I also love to teach writing. But when these kids are sitting down and they're freezing, when they're looking at this blank piece of paper, writing is difficult in general. But when we have overstimulated kids and then you're bringing that attention down to nothing on that page is giving you dopamine. It is the biggest fall flat for any person with ADHD, and that shock of the stimulation change can sometimes feel like you are getting hit in the face, like deer in the headlights. Sometimes I come home from work and it takes me 3 hours to just match the pace of my empty house. And so there's a lot at play with writing and ADHD. And so I told them I can work, I have so many interventions that I used to get through college. They need to know that you can be successful in an academic world if that's what you choose and be neurodivergent. Because I think that we appreciate the text challenges for students with ADHD, but I don't know that we're necessarily inspiring them to overcome them. And so I was really real about that with them today. We did social structures, and I told them the worst thing that could happen to me is being bored. And so this class isn't going to be boring because I'm in here. And if I have to be in here all day, we are not just sitting around reading about social studies and filling in the blanks. I can't do it. I believe that you need to talk and move. You're at the most socially curious developmental point of your life. You're going to start to see it fade off your sophomore, junior year of high school. You're going to know who you are a little bit more and who your real friends are. But right now, everything's kind of up for grabs. This is a really curious time. I'm going to work with it. I'm not going to work against it. If we're going to learn, we can learn through speaking and moving. And that will keep me from getting bored, and it'll keep you from getting bored. And so we did 2 social structures today. One of them had movement, one of them didn't. Ways to set up social structures in your classroom. I use a lot of Kagan cooperative learning strategies because they were taught to me, and I just kept practicing them. And I use them all the time now, and it had a profound impact on my teaching style. Just absolutely changed the way that I thought about, somewhat about social cognitive theory, but also about, social dynamics in the classroom and how much that's what's optimizing these structures to really teach kids how to socialize, how to communicate. And as the year goes on, they really do work. You can socialize children after the age of 4. It just takes a lot of work. And so I told them we were going to do stand up, hand up, pair up. You stand up, you push your seat in, you take your index card, you put your hand up, high five somebody, person with longest hair goes first, practicing with a partner in front of them what I expected to see in their body language, what I expected to hear from their voice, how I expected them to be looking at and agreeing with the person, not interrupting, asking meaningful questions. I'm modeling this whole thing with a partner. And while I'm doing that, she or he is now really doing me an extreme favor. A lot of appreciation from my partner, just like humble appreciation. Thank you so much for doing this with me. They don't know you, or they do know you because it's mid-year, but like you have an opportunity to reintroduce yourself. Okay, so you can take that opportunity. They have some beliefs about you that they believe are true, but you can re-endear yourself to children if you posture yourself in humility. It's a huge part of the game. But anyway, so you set up the limits. You say, oh, I said, write this chart on your index card that's in front of you. Okay, so they put their name, 3 character traits, and I gave them examples: loyal, funny, friendly, hard worker, good friend. Gave them some examples. And then something that is memorable. I said either because it's a TikTok reel stuck in your head and you just want to talk about it, memorable, or something that you would want somebody to remember about you, or something crazy that happened to you. Okay, so I said name, 3 character traits, and something memorable. I said these structures are not always going to be this easy, but you already know the information for all of these. We're going to be pulling a lot of information out of the text and doing that with these in the future, but it's going to feel a lot like this. Introduce them to what the feel of socially connecting over something they want to talk about. Get them used to what that feels like, and then try to take the academic part of it, and now you are just adding to what a natural dialogue that they already have. But you first have to start with getting them talking at all. Okay? So we model all of it. I say, okay, I'm going to set the timer for 2.5 minutes for you to fill out your index card. If I noticed that we had some scraggling writers, I clicked that timer off and I started saying, we have about 2 minutes left. They don't have a great concept of time yet. You can use your timers, but you are the one who knows when people are instructionally ready to move on. So have dominance over that timer. You don't always have to let it go off. Okay? So I said, I'm setting the timer for 2.5 minutes. Fill out your index card. When we're done filling out the index card, we're going to go on to modeling, and then we're going to try this for the very first time. And so timer goes off. I say, we are not starting yet. I'm going to let you know very clearly by saying 3, 2, 1, find a partner when I want you to get started. But right now, I'm just telling you what it's going to be like. First, you're going to stand up and push your chair in. You're going to pick up your index card and you are going to put your hand in the air. When I start the timer, after I have said 3, 2, 1, get started, you are going to find someone, high five them, and the person with the longest hair is going to go first. While you are listening to the person with the longest hair, your feet are pointed towards them, your eyes are on them. You're going to be slightly leaned in, and you're going to be giving them active listening cues that you're following along with them. If you interrupt them, it should be to ask a meaningful question. If you don't have a meaningful question, you are doing your job by listening. If you are the person with the longest hair, you should not be talking at Miss Lohman volume. You should be talking slightly above a whisper. You're not talking full volume, slightly above a whisper. Okay? You want to make sure that the person is hearing you, so you need to be looking at them, feet pointed towards them, and slightly leaned in. Okay? So that's what I want this to look like. Go ahead and stand up, push your chair in, hand up, 3, 2, 1, and find a partner. And then I put my hand up. I went and clicked that timer and I immediately threw my hand up. They want to talk to you. You're going to find out who your dominant personalities are and who they are not. Get in that mix and then model the tarnation out of the expectations that you had. Captivate that kid. Make sure nothing crazy is happening, but give that kid all of your very intense attention. Ask them, what is your name one more time? Okay, by the end of the second week, I promise you I'm going to know your name. Okay, I'm going to ask you a lot in between now and then, but I really do want to know your name. Say, oh my gosh, it was so nice to get to meet you. Genuine smile, make eye contact, a true Duchenne smile. Give it to them. Okay, let them know that you are excited to be there. Whatever part of this activity lights you up, even if it is something, even if you're nerding out about a part of the content and you just want to keep talking about that thing and you think the rest of it is boring, find a way to loop it into these kind of structures. Get some of that higher level conversation that we want them to be hearing academically all the time. This is that time. Talk, make them reach for you, and then make sure they know what you meant. But expose them to all kinds of dialogue during that time of being involved in the activity. I had a couple classes where it was like a pretty steady team of like kids that wanted to talk to me. And then in one class, I had like a line of kids. That tells you so much about the dynamic of the classroom. Take all of that in. Are they all wanting your attention? Are they all happy to talk to each other? Who's talking to who? You're not going to catch that on the first day, but be looking. Find kids that are friends with each other. Figure out which kids don't mesh well with each other. And then I pulled them all back together after the timer went off. I said, what do you think went well about that? What do you think we could do better? We're going to do a lot of structures like that moving forward. I just wanted to get to know you. We're going to do a lot of structures like that in this month because I really can't teach well if I don't know you well. So I want you to get to know me, and I'm really excited to get to know you. It's all about an invitation. You are invited to have my undivided attention. And then really act on that. Be fully immersed with them. I mean, I find them so fascinating, like the way that kids learn how to socially develop, that I think that I probably struggle less with like getting sucked into the classroom. But I really do. I get sucked into it. The last activity that we did was what you need from me, what I need from you. Okay? What do you think that you are going to need from me to be successful in this class for the next 10 weeks? What is meaningful to you as a learner? Guys, they know. You need to ask them. I had a kid tell me that she's a visual learner and that she cannot understand instructions very well when people are talking to her. Could you please give me some visual instructions? And I'm like, absolutely. Some kid was like, I need you to help me with my problems. And I was like, okay, so is it that you don't understand the question or that you don't know what is expected for the answer? And he said, I don't know what's expected for the answer. I said, that's called guided practice. You want me to do a couple questions with you on your worksheet and get you started like that? And he was like, yes. And I was like, got it. Okay, those are things that are meaningful for them to know about themselves. That is not kids trying to get out of work. The kid who asked me about homework passes, that kid was, he was shooting a shot. And I respect it. Okay, the second thing that we talked about was what they thought that I needed from them. And I let them talk to me, give me ideas, respectful, listening, on task. And I said, yes, all of those things are really good. But also one thing that I'm going to need from you, maybe more than other teachers that you've had in the past, is that I cannot hear when other people are talking. It is so overstimulating to me that if you are talking while someone else is talking, not even just me, two people talking at the same time, I'm gone. Okay, so it would be meaningful to me if, because we talked in here all the time, that we only talked one person at a time unless we're in a structure. That would mean a lot to me. Make that space for yourself. It's not all like respectful, kindness. You need to think about who you are and how they can really respect who you really are in the classroom. Saying I need you to, it is a requirement for us to function, that this is how it's done in here. Because I'm steering this ship, I have responsibilities, and I have to be at my best. I have to carry the weight of the responsibility because I'm the adult. Make space for the adult that you want to be. This ended up being way longer than what I thought it would be. Those are just some of my thoughts. That's kind of how I get myself through the day, how I approach new kids. For me today was just about getting in there and modeling openness, modeling being available, intellectually and socially available to the people around you, and just really throwing my shoulders back and being my most confident and calm self. Confident, calm, and reassuring. I hope this helps you as you get back to kind of post-Christmas break madness. If you have any questions or any comments, throw them in the comment box below. I would love to get some engagement on these videos. I love to get ideas from other people. Yeah, tell me, leave a comment. How do you think we're doing with our accommodations? Do you see the accommodations and the interventions that we are commonly using? Do you feel like they are really helping kids, or are we missing the mark? I'm just really curious. Let me know what you think.